Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of the Vintage Anime Club podcast, your podcast for old school anime, drinking lots of wine, and enjoying some nice weather out here in California. Sorry to make
Don't make all the listeners jealous.
Oh,
Sorry.
the spring has sprung, sort of.
Yeah, winter anime season is over, and we are excited for spring anime season. So it might just be more of the same.
Yeah, but some stuff is coming back, and I'm like, yay, welcome back.
Yeah. I'm one of the hosts, Dennis. Joining me today, fellow host Kate.
Yay, welcome back.
We also have Ed.
Yay, welcome back.
Eve.
Hey.
And Karen.
Hi, I don't have a welcome back.
I don't know what's going on.
Welcome back to the show, Karen. You missed a couple.
I know,
it's all
I did.
Good. So, we are here to finish off our Nazca talks.
Yay.
We will be reincarnated to a different anime podcast.
Wow.
When I come back, I'd like to watch a different anime. Thanks.
Wow, rude.
But before we get into that, let's talk about stuff that has happened since last time. We, a bunch of us here went to WonderCon, had a lot of fun.
Yay, Batman
And,
Ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to take a moment to talk about Batman Ninja because
What have you watched?
Yeah, kick it
it's
first.
an anime. It was made by an anime studio.
Crazy
Indeed.
cast.
Let's see. We watched it
I don't know
dubbed,
anything about
but
it. I just know that
the
you
Japanese
mentioned it a
release. Batman is played by Koichi Yamadera, who's Spike Spiegel, and oh shoot, I can't remember who the Joker is.
Takagi Wataru. Who
Yeah, who
I can't
I-
remember offhand
Yeah.
what he's done, except he was in Pop Team Epic a couple of weeks
Yeah,
ago.
but it's like the whole cast has a lot of heavy hitters, and basically the plot is like a bunch of Batman heroes and a whole bunch of villains like get sent back to ancient Japan and sort of take over, and then like shit just goes crazy. Like I can't believe the stuff that they were doing in this movie. Like they start sort of like, oh yeah, maybe this is a little bit historically accurate or whatever, and then it's just like, no, this is like balls to the wall.
It starts out fish out of water because everyone else apparently has been integrated into feudal
like
Japan,
apparently
except
like
for Batman.
everyone ended up in ancient Japan sooner than Batman did, so they've all been there for a while. So they're like, welcome Batman, and he's like, what's going on?
Oh boy.
So yeah, it's crazy seeing like what bat gadgets he brings.
Yeah.
I will spoil one thing. He drops a smoke bomb to escape, gets his grappling hook, and is like, oh, there are no buildings up here for me to grapple from.
No, everything's like a he's in like a Japanese village, so
He just
everything's a
runs
one-story
into-
building.
Just runs into an alley instead.
Yeah.
It's really good. We will go more into that. We'll probably do a viewing party for this.
Yeah,
because
no, I would like everyone to see this because it's just so crazy.
It might have to be a Patreon episode or a 0.5 episode.
Quest is in it, right?
Yeah, he's
yeah.
Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah, which is amazing. I'm like, oh.
Who's he again? What?
Gorilla Grodd.
Oh Lord.
Grodd, Grodd's a...
So he's super
pretty big
smart and
dog.
suave, but also a gorilla.
It's like Beast Wars all over again.
Ed, what have you been watching, if anything, now that season's done? About done.
I finished most of the shows that I was watching. The new thing I watched the live action version of Kakegurui.
Oh.
It's a drama, right?
The reactions in the anime were so over the top, though. Like, how can they possibly replicate that in live action?
It's interesting. The actors I can tell are really enjoying themselves, being really campy with their acting, and then they all see some camera effects and like make people's eyes light up and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So
I guess maybe in a lot of Japanese movies you don't get that chance to really like chew the scenery.
yeah,
Oh.
for sure.
So
they
taking advantage of this.
They hinted very strongly that that's also going to come back for a second season, just like the anime is. So
Nice.
Oh.
Wow.
I'll be watching both of those.
Nice. Eve, how about you? What have you been watching this last time? Anything new you want to make mention about?
I did. Well, I've been pretty much watching the same thing. Hanamaru ended, and I'm sad. I'm very sad, but I'm looking forward to the next season. Are we talking about that yet, or?
What?
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a big. I
So,
like Katsugeki
what-
more than
yeah.
Hanamaru in terms of Token Ranbu
Was
stuff.
this season of Hanamaru pretty much similar to the first season?
Hanamaru. Yeah, well, yes, but it's very pure, and they added the new swords.
Yeah, I mean, like, my issue with Hanamaru is that it seemed very, like, you had to know the characters already from the game to get to get the appeal. Because I was like, this is really slow, and they're not doing anything.
And
and I don't know why I should care about any of these people.
Yeah, it has some inside jokes, and it's great, though.
Uh-huh.
So if you're into it, then it's a lot of fun, but it's super, like, pure and wholesome. So I really wish they'd do that with Fate.
Mm-hmm.
With
well, isn't that the whole deal with the cooking show? It's that it's, like, sweet and innocent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's been slow coming out.
Oh.
Yeah, isn't it like
Well,
once
that's on
every
UFO
Once a
table.
month-ish.
Oh yeah, once a month.
Wow.
It should be out
For
tomorrow,
something that's
right?
like, isn't it like a
Episode 4 is
5-minute
out
segment
today.
or
Okay.
something?
No, I think it's
they're
15.
about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, but still pretty short, and they can only manage once
They're
a
hella
month.
cute.
Well, it's UFO table, so they're probably working on something else. It's
Okay.
Like, it's
It's
probably
their
their side
off time.
project.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or like the B team, where it's like, give the interns something to do.
Well, it's true that they probably don't have to animate anything too outlandish for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the production's really nice. But
the
they
real
should
team
do.
is working on Heaven's Feel movie.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
But
They have
they
the
should
people
make
that know
yeah.
how to animate food.
Oh man, it makes
Please
me
draw
so
this
hungry.
food so it looks extra delicious.
Yeah, but I was hoping they make a FGO version of Hanamaru. Be like Chidella.
Oh. Uh-huh.
Chidella Maru, I don't know.
Maybe. We could.
Yeah, we just get all of the heroes like hanging out in a random place. It's like, yeah, this is where we all live and interact with each other.
And even in Hanamaru, they sorties once in a while.
That's
so
true.
you could see some interaction with that. I think that would be fun.
Karen, how about you?
I'm not into swords, so I was like, okay, I'll just sit on the sideline of this conversation.
You should. Watch Katsugeki
I
first. See
still
how you
don't
like it.
Yeah,
understand
no, I
swords
would recommend
holding swords.
Katsugeki.
Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
If
no,
you're thinking about it, don't think
the
about it.
question that I had is like, are they holding themselves? Like, what is this?
That's why I don't understand it. I'm
Yeah.
just like,
I liked
okay,
Katsugeki though because it's an action show, so I would recommend that one.
Well, how did Kankole? They were basically wearing themselves, right?
No.
Yeah,
yeah,
No.
It's so
they just
bizarre.
They just have ship cannons strapped to them.
Well,
Karen,
no, they
what have
got
you been
that gun
watching?
anime or something, or gun danshi game.
Gundanshi.
Yeah, the gun
oh
one.
wow.
I'm not watching too much. I'm keeping up with the Tokansu ramen.
Oh yeah, Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens.
Yes, ramens.
Yeah, that
plurals.
did that end? just a
I
single
think it's
core?
almost done.
About to
I'm
end?
not
So it's
caught
probably
up
like this
with-
week. It's going to end. By the time this episode's out,
It was a lot more Yakuza and a lot less ramen than I was expecting.
Yakuza, I'm on
Well,
board.
yeah, you find out that's the team name is that.
It's
so-
ramens.
Okay.
No, it's Tonkatsu ramens, I guess. That's the
whatever.
term, I
It's a
think.
very unassuming Yakuza name. I mean, like you hear it, you wouldn't think it's Yakuza. So it's kind
Yeah.
of smart,
I'd be like, oh, it's like a fancy restaurant or clothing store.
right?
Yeah, I don't know. So that's about what I'm watching, and I keep popping in and watching some of Sanrio Boys too, very very slowly.
Did you get to the ab worship?
The first 2 episodes. I was like,
it's evolved.
this is how this is gonna go. Okay, doke.
It's evolved.
Oh goodness. All right. I'm gonna watch some more, I guess. But it's actually, you would think it's just straight up advertising, but it's actually got really important messages in it. So it's surprising how attached and emotional you can get just watching that show. So I might sit down and binge through the rest so I can get all caught up of that. But that's not following too much yet. Next season.
Nice. Okay. As for me, finished Pop Team Epic. That was great.
Yeah, I'm a little sad that the final episode was not actually a full episode of Hoshiguro Girl Drop.
But it's coming back for a second season.
Yay!
Yeah.
Now we get more
Was
team
that
ups.
for real though?
Well, no. Nobody knows.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
They could be trolling.
Class hasn't been in it yet. I'm waiting.
Right?
There-
Yeah.
There's plenty of
can
people.
pair him with
There's
them.
plenty of people who have
I
not
want
been in
want
yet.
Seki and Mikishin in there. That'd be
Nah.
At least we got Joji.
yeah.
Yeah.
that's
That
fantastic.
guy.
Oh, Joji.
I guess Record of Grand Crest War. Ugh.
I didn't watch this week's yet.
This week's was I'm sorry.
I
last
watched
week
the
was
recap episode.
Yeah, last week
Oh,
was a
God.
recap. I'm like, ugh.
Well,
I thought we were done with that.
No, it's coming back for another season.
It has
No,
a
the
second
recap
core.
episodes.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
no.
well,
No, that happens.
Did you ever see Shirobako? Whenever they're running out of time on the schedule, they're like, okay, just like put together a recap episode from clips.
No, it's like it used to be a lot during like the early 2000s.
Oh, it's still a lot. There's at
Yeah.
least 3 or 4 shows every
Yeah.
season.
That's why I stopped watching Attack on Titans, because I got about 10 episodes in and they're like, recap episode, and I went, oh, okay,
Dude, the
I'm gonna
manga
stop
is
now.
intense.
Yeah, but like what happened with Grand Crest? I'm like, you're trying so hard to be Game of Thrones and
Oh,
failing so
no.
hard at being
Oh, no.
even being
Oh, no.
close to it.
Wow.
It's like, oh, favorite characters. Who knows what their fate? What will happen with their
gosh.
fates and stuff? And it's just, oh, you're doing a good job of making me care about some characters, except they're not the main characters.
Oh.
So that's
Well,
what's
if they really
failing
wanted
with
to be
that
like
right
Game of
now.
Thrones, they have to kill off some of the main characters that people like.
They might have done that.
Oh.
Yeah.
But if they really wanted to do the Game of Thrones thing, they would also have to be like twice as long, right? You can't have a Game of Thrones size cast and have 25-minute episodes.
That's
and
true.
expect that everybody gets
Yeah, but-
any
well,
real development.
Even
there's no soft
the
core in
actual
there
Game of
either?
Thrones show, like at an hour long, there are so many different characters and locations where they all are that it's hard to keep it all straight.
Yeah,
There's some fan servicey girls in there, and
That's it?
some
some bishis.
No,
yeah.
like
There's
no
a couple
boys.
of
Right?
there's one psycho boy, well more like psycho man, but yeah,
There's one Psycho Man.
but yeah.
So far, who knows what season 2 will be.
we'll see what happens when the second core comes out. I will probably still watch, unfortunately. There's so much more better stuff, though. I'm
Yeah.
probably going to end up skipping through the second half of the season because I'm more excited about stuff that's coming out in spring.
Yes.
Shall we talk about
Like,
that?
Sure, let's
I'll
get
go
into
Start,
last.
Dennis.
I'll go last.
I just can't wait to rewatch, or not rewatch. I can't wait to re-up with Food Wars and My Hero Academia. Those are the main ones I would like to watch. Though I am intrigued by what is it, Maho Shoujo Ore?
Shoujo Ore.
yeah.
It's like, what is this? Okay.
Yeah, there's like 2 Mahou
Explain the
Shoujo.
concept to us, Dennis.
It is.
Well,
Apparently,
good luck.
there's like a girl. I'm not saying likes, but like respects her older idol brother.
No, it's like her friend's brother is an
friend's
idol,
brother is an
and
idol,
she
okay.
also wants to be an idol, and then somehow
She
becomes a magical
girl.
Except she transforms into like a boy,
Yeah.
and then like her friend and
is that
her
one finally
friend
coming
with the brother ends up falling in love with her boy form. And I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's like you wrote down a bunch of anime tropes and included all of them.
And like her mom is a former magical girl.
Oh my god. All right.
But if
Like,
you've
is
seen
this
the-
based on a manga or something?
I don't know.
I want it. This sounds
It
something
sounds crazy.
crazy but fun.
But if you've seen any of the promo art where it's like 2 mostly dudes, except they're dressed in really magical girl outfits,
outfits.
that's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that forever ago, and I didn't realize when that was coming out. So
There was
This
another
season.
one that intrigued me where it was like post-apocalyptic, like humans and robots and other. It's like Jushin something.
I'm not sure. I know that
Jushimatsu.
one.
Did you?
I will look at the list and come back. Someone else go.
Okay.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. Like Dennis kind of talked about the stuff I was going to bring up. I did. Dennis linked me this long list of all of the shows that were going to be coming up in the spring season, and so many of them had just like weird ass synopsises. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on? Like, nothing can be simple anymore. Everything has to be like a mashup of 2 different genres, or like something is post-apocalyptic, but it's also super cute and.
Yeah.
Like I can't. It's a lot.
It's a lot to handle.
Okay, the thing that I was trying to mention was a Jushinki Pandora.
Oh, okay.
Where
I
it's,
don't think I even know that one.
I saw that around on Twitter.
Oh, I
was
can't
just
remember.
Like, it looks interesting.
Yeah,
There was a
that's-
synopsis for something, and it sounded kind of interesting. Like it didn't sound like super cutthroat or anything, except the show's name is Caligula.
Oh yeah.
There's no information.
That's actually getting the first episode is being previewed at SakuraCon this weekend because the main guy is there.
Oh, so do you remember what it was about? Because the
No.
description doesn't match the name at all.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm like, do you understand the meaningfulness of this name?
I don't recall. It's like
Well, there was also a show called Gilgamesh, and it wasn't what you think it is.
it's like trapped in a alternate world or something, but not like in the fantasy sense. I don't remember the concept.
Yeah.
That was a question mark for me. I was like, I don't know. We'll see.
You don't know about the Gilgamesh show?
No, Caligula. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I'm interested or not.
Well, you can always see if there's buzz from this weekend and
Yeah.
that's
go
true.
from there.
Okay, go
All right,
ahead.
Ed, how
I'm gonna
about
go
you?
next. All right. Well, so we talked about shows coming back like Shokugeki. Hozuki's coming back.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, right. I guess the other thing is they're rebooting Cutie Honey from
Oh, yeah.
decades
Right.
ago. So,
Also, Captain Tsubasa.
but good.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
did see that, and I was like, damn, that manga's old. Didn't they already make an anime out of that?
They did.
So Go Nagai's stuff is hot again thanks to Devilman. So we'll see
Thanks.
what
So
they
they're
do.
like,
Man.
let's remake all of his stuff.
I guess.
I don't know if they planned it in parallel or what, but Cutie Honey is going to have Maya-chan as Cutie Honey. So that'll be interesting. But I think they just announced that Sentai picked it up, so
Yeah,
it
so
may,
it might be on-
it may just be on High Dive only,
might
which would
just
be
be High Dive, but I don't know.
disappointing.
Like it might prove to be, if Crunchyroll's willing to pay for it, like they do for Food Wars,
right. So we'll see, but no announcement's been made as of yet as to where it will be streaming, and presumably it starts next week, like most shows.
Oh, wow. Go, Karen.
Me, I skimmed the list that we got, and there's so many Japanese words there. I was like,
I figured you'd be
don't know.
more excited about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Persona 5 the animation is my big one, and
Yeah, that is a double core, right? 25
so.
episodes, 24
I think so.
episodes.
Didn't say how many episodes there are, but there's 12 Blu-ray volumes. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it better not be one episode per disc. Like,
No, it's gonna
damn.
Two episodes.
Two episodes per
Yep.
disc.
so that one
Fucking
and
Japan, God damn
Full
it.
Metal Panic is one that I watched all of the previous 3
They're keeping
seasons.
they're keeping the same cast.
Yeah,
pretty
Nice.
so that one I'm looking forward to that one. So and My Hero Academia, since
Yay.
I've caught up on.
Maybe
On
we can
that
get
stuff.
Seki to come out as a guest. I can finally get him to sign my goddamn Escaflowne Blu-ray.
Did you get Joji to sign it?
No.
Well, you gotta wait for him too.
Yeah.
when was the last time he was here?
He went
No
to I saw him in Canada.
Oh,
Like,
like
Seki went to
Anime Revolution?
AX to promote that like
Oh yeah,
There's some giant robo.
no,
something
It was
like
like a Sentai.
Gotcha Man.
Yeah.
Oh, Gotcha
thing.
Man, okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have to sit and just read all the synopses.
Yeah, like that Fists of the North Star prequel.
Oh.
deal.
Oh god.
There's so many.
I don't know how I feel about that.
There's so many new ones that I just was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just have to get recommendations from people. I would have to see trailers, I think. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that too,
I think that would help me distinguish them better, because when you read one like sort of batshit synopsis after another, like it's hard to keep them all straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and every now and then you might be like, "Oh, this sounds cool." You watch an episode, you're like, "No, never mind." Like how I
Yeah.
felt with the Silver Guardian,
Uh-oh.
Oh,
or what was that? What was that one that was like a bad ripoff of Fate? I can't remember anymore.
Oh,
Junior Tyson?
No, Junior Tyson.
There are
Sword
many
Art
shows that
Online?
are bad. Bird of Fate is
the
no.
Drifters?
the
No, not Drifters,
recreators
not
or
Recreators.
whatever.
It was like
Sword Art?
It was like Chain Chronicle or something like that.
Oh.
yeah. I don't think any of us watched it.
I mean,
Or was
I
it
didn't
like
watch it.
Spirit?
I was about to say Senran Kagura, but I was
Soul
like,
Chronicle? Oh, I remember.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just the animation
show.
looked really terrible because like everyone's faces were like, for some reason they looked like they were all behind shadow all the time.
Oh
so I
yeah,
couldn't
it
tell
had this
which
weird
one.
like texture on top of all of the animation, and it was
Go
Was it
listen
trying
the
to
whole
be
episode.
Gankutsu?
Yeah.
It was trying to be badly.
yeah.
It was really bad.
And
at
it
that.
was just badly done. Oh, in manga news, I'd like to bring up that Viz is gonna bring out in English that manga that's like, I was reincarnated as Yamcha in Dragon Ball Z.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
I'm
God.
looking forward to that. Eve,
So there's a-
what are you excited about?
Steve's got a giant
I'm
list.
excited.
I know. I saw your list. I was like, whoa.
Well, because I figured other people would touch on it, so I'd get the others.
Okay.
The big announcement that was announced like a couple months ago was Golden Kamuy is going to be animated.
Yeah.
That looks awesome. There's a big cast. And also, spring is when Hosoya returns. So he's in a whole bunch of stuff. Like,
Oh, okay.
I heard around Twitter, like this new thing called Butlers, where they go back in time and fight
be
people.
butlers?
No, it's
No,
really
it has
weird.
nothing to do with butlers.
As butlers?
Sure, like that is the theme of this season. Like,
But it
the
feels
name,
very-
like has no fucking relation to what
They're
the content
serving
of the show
people.
is.
But
There's one
serving
that's a
beatdowns,
cafe
that's what they're
server.
serving.
death.
There's one that's a cafe server, and then they have a time traveling back to fight people that are called butlers, but they're not really butlers.
Makes zero sense.
It doesn't
no
make
meaning
that much
anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't make that much sense, but it looks very Fujo, so it's in my area. And I'm not too sure about Uchu Senkan Tiramisu. It looks pretty Fujo, but with food.
So what does it have to do with food? Like I'm like, okay, so your giant spaceship is named tiramisu, but
the promo art for it has been showing like them chowing down on ship, even though it's in space. And I'm just
space
like,
cafeteria. Okay.
I was like, is this like Battleship Yamato
Fugu.
with food?
Well, maybe they're like, oh, this Shokugeki show is really popular. Let's try to incorporate some food.
Yeah, I
Space.
don't know. I'm not sure about that. But also the movie, they're doing Peacemaker Kurogane, bringing it back, but they're bringing it back as a movie.
Okay.
So that looks
There's
interesting.
a lot of movies actually that are coming back, or like
Yeah, there's all
series that
the
are coming as
Psychopaths movies that are going to come out in
Psychopaths.
2019.
Oh, I have to wait a whole year for that.
Yeah.
But anyways, yes.
The years go by quick now.
Hopefully
We're
it'll be
older.
good. Like, so I watched the Psychopaths movie that already came out, and
Yes.
it was good, but lots of awkward English.
It's
in the
better than
Japanese version.
it would have been.
It was pretty bad though.
All right, what else you got, Eve?
I'm not sure about Roku Hodo. It looks very Fujo, of course, and it's got a Fujo cast. But it looks so slice of life, I might be bored with it. Also-
That's my deal with Hanamaru. It's too boring.
Only if you don't know. But I'm really disappointed in the new Legend of Galactic Heroes. I don't know if I'll touch it.
Oh,
I really don't
So you're
know.
not going to get that $800 box set either.
Well, that doesn't have
that
the new
was like
one
the
in
past
it.
one though.
Yeah.
So can you
I would-
imagine that? It's like you spend $800 for this giant box set and you don't even get the whole show because they're making
Yeah, you
new
do.
stuff.
Well, you get the good stuff.
Oh, okay.
The stuff
so
that matters.
The new stuff is like TBD.
They should just go for the whole $1,000 and add in the stage plays and the what's the woman version? Takarazuka version. I'd pay
There was a
$1,000 for that.
Takarazuka version?
Yeah, it's great.
Damn.
And I didn't find any information, but I guess they're dubbing over a Chinese anime, the Wodeni Tianshenkui.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a couple of Chinese shows that are.
So I was like,
Oh, so
that's
it's actually
interesting.
like animated, like
Yeah.
it was originally a
I found
Chinese
a-
show,
Chinese
and they're
studio,
dubbing
yeah.
it into Japanese.
Yeah, I found a
and
trailer.
then bringing it out here and with subtitles. Whoa.
Well, that's the same thing they did with Thunderbolt Fantasy.
yeah.
Which is also coming back. It's, but I
Yay.
don't think
they
they'll
got
fall
new
something.
characters too.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think we didn't mention the Gunsmith Cats.
Oh,
Kickstarter.
yeah.
Another
Yeah.
piece of news
That's right.
that started last
I need,
weekend.
I need to finish backing that because I want what? I want it.
So if you like Gunsmith Cats, this is like the thing to pledge on
Funny
Kickstarter.
enough, I actually saw a copy of Gunsmith Cats back at Anime Los Angeles. Like someone sold an
Oh.
old copy for
yeah.
like I think $40 or $50. So I was like, well, I could get it on Blu-ray for that price.
Yeah, so you can
So
start
let's
at a
get a
$30
clear-
tier and get the
clear
new
version.
release.
Then there's a pretty decent goodies that they have, and you can actually order those goodies after the fact. So I'm debating about which one I'm going to get.
Yeah, they
We'll
got funded very quickly, so now they're working
Very
on
quickly.
stretch goals. So
Let's hit those stretch goals, guys, with your help. All right. Anything else that we wanted to make mention about?
I think we covered it all.
Yeah,
we'll
pretty
dive
much.
into the topic of hand.
Yeah. What happened last time from Nazca? If I can remember correctly, I think they
Shit was going
They
down.
tried to fight like out in the street or whatever. And they ended up bringing about some of the power of Iriatese, which caused something to happen in the world. And they're like, we have to go find the last person, and you get like a him looking back and not knowing who this guy is besides being on the cover of one of the discs.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah. Yeah,
okay.
the mysterious last person.
With the
shows
giant
up.
shoulders. 'Cause, yeah, we're going to get more about him as we go into the episode. So everyone ready?
Yep.
Let's
Yes.
do it.
Last 4 episodes for Nazca. So we're actually ending on the last episode for disc 3, along with the rest of disc 4 for today.
Yep.
So, what happens in episode, what are we on, 9?
9.
Yeah.
The only thing I remember is Team Kyoji gets her asses kicked. Like, really badly.
That
Kind of
happens in
blur
every
together.
episode.
Yeah.
That's every episode.
It is our episode. We do meet the new resurrected
New guy.
spirit.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
apparently was like ahead of everybody else in this game because he's been a resurrected spirit for a while and even has his old costume.
He has his own costume. Apparently he
Well, he kind of needed to be there ahead of time.
he believes a lot of stuff about like Incan beliefs and things like that.
No,
because he has-
he's like fully bought into this. Yeah.
yeah, he has like his own like spiritual faith healer.
He's a
Is-
cult
Yeah,
leader.
he's like a spiritual
leader.
guru guy. So like people go to him and he heals them, and all of this is happening in Asuka, which is like supposed to be the reincarnation of Nazca
Because they sound.
because they sound similar.
They even mentioned that too. They were like over in Vacation Cottage area.
Oh yeah,
They
They're
had
having coffee.
yeah, they had like what was his face? Sano, right? The kid guy was doing research on the computer where you think that he would be praying because like he's tapping into his full abilities. He's fucking
Yeah.
on the computer.
Yeah, he looks like he's like praying in the shrine, but no, he's just on his laptop.
Yeah, and he's like, "Look, guys, I typed in Nazca and Asuka, and then this is what showed up." I was like, "Oh my god, are you serious?" Because this is like something I would do. I would just toss both into a Google search and be like,
So bad.
yeah,
Sometimes the most obvious thing is the least you expect.
it's so. This is a stretch though. Also, we started out this episode with all of these like natural disasters seem to be happening around the world. Like, oh no, like icebergs are cropping up in the Arctic Ocean.
Bless you.
Excuse me, and
New
I'm
York,
sneezing.
New York has an
Yeah,
earthquake.
New York has an earthquake.
But they said minor damage from magnitude.
Yeah, a minor damage from a 5.
earthquake.
Yeah, especially in an area that never has earthquake
New
damage. Like,
York?
do you remember like Washington D.C. had like a 3.0 or something a while back, and like some lawn chairs fell over, but everybody freaked out.
Yeah, they're not.
No.
ready
The
for that.
lawn chair tipping over is just the meme. That's
Oh.
all it was.
They would not be. New York City would not be ready for a 5.0.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think it
none
would.
of the buildings are
Yeah.
equipped with any.
Yeah. Oh
that
gosh,
LA
all those
has.
brick buildings. Yeah. So anyway, like some minor-ish natural disasters happen all over the world, and Sano looks all this up, and he's like, "Look, all of these intersect, and like it points to Asuka, so that's where we have to go." And I'm like, "What? What is this?"
I don't know how,
How do
they
you figure this
drew
shit
the
out?
lines because you just pick the city and you can make the line go anywhere. So I don't.
Yeah.
It was
dumb.
pretty cheesy.
Yeah, because how it connected, I'm like, guys, you could connect this a different way if you wanted to as well. He goes to them, see, don't you get it? Okay, what if I did it like this? See, now?
No, and it doesn't
twist.
make any more sense when
Plot
he did
twist
that.
was his idea all along.
Yeah. So they end up going to Asuka, and let's
Just conveniently in Japan.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Everything's convenient about that. They all got reincarnated into Japan.
Yeah, and they knew each other too
they knew
in
each
their
other.
reincarnations. So
Yeah, for the most part, they knew each other.
yeah. I guess a few people didn't really know each other, but
There
they all
were a-
meet.
Yeah, there were a few degrees of separation between most of
Yeah.
them. But yeah.
So our intrepid heroes go to Asuka, but it turns out that Team Tate already went to Asuka, and
Yeah.
they meet with
And-
the
and-
spiritual guru.
and Yuka is on the way there on her own too. She figures all this stuff out too.
Yeah, it's interesting how they're like, oh, we're gonna go to Asuka, and it's great that Yuka's not coming with us because we need to protect her. And meanwhile, like Yuka's already on the train there.
It's like, oops.
Oops. It's like,
It's okay.
oh, did
We
anyone
won't
check
tell-
in on Yuka?
We won't tell her where we're going. That way she won't know and follow.
Oh, no, wait, she's way ahead of you guys.
It's a bad idea.
Ugh, so dumb.
But at least it shows that, like, all right, she is resourceful, you know, especially from the past, like, the last recording where it was like, oh.
She seems to alternate between, like, being the most, like, resourceful and, like, the one who actually gets what's going on. And then being, like, the damsel in distress that they're all fighting over.
Like,
Is
she
she a
traveled.
reporter? I don't
She traveled
remember.
a lot, like, in the first couple episodes.
Yeah, like, she's the one who went to South America, and then Kyoji followed her, and his grandpa was like, oh, yeah, live your life, grandson.
travel to another continent.
Yuka's been very proactive at times, and then other times, like when she's in danger, like it's just like she just sort of waits for the fight to be over.
Yeah, her characterization is very
It's very spotty,
erratic.
I guess. Yeah. So,
we meet-
everybody goes to Asuka, sort of arriving at similar times, although Team Tate gets there first, and they go to meet this guru whose Japanese name is like Kariya, but everybody calls him Garos, which
Yeah.
is his Inca name.
We get his name, like, once.
Well,
Yeah.
It's like his
He
real name.
introduces himself.
I think his like internet bio even says, "I am a reincarnated spirit."
Oh
Yep.
yeah, oh yeah. Like Sano finds this guy's website, and they're like, "Oh, we should meet this person because he says he's a reincarnated spirit
What
and like
does-
the savior of humanity."
And what does a WHT stand for?
I don't
We
know.
still haven't figured that out.
It stands for what?
White Hats team. See, I told you that's what it is.
But Garos is wearing his full Incan garb, which means he has the most ridiculous shoulder pads.
You know, no, he's
bigger
got
than
like
his head.
the biggest leg of mutton sleeve ever, and
Escaflowne.
like a
Yeah,
full
right.
like skirt,
Escaflowne sleeves.
and then this.
And
Alan
all times.
Shazar would be proud, you guys.
He's got this like headdress that defies gravity and goes like straight off of his head and then down his back like a firework.
He
I
looks
think most
pretty
of them
ridiculous.
have pretty gravity-defying
That
features about all
that
this stuff.
priestess hat is like she can.
Yeah,
hide two
Yuka's like
people underneath
priestess
it.
outfit. Yeah, she could hide some children in her hat.
So we get a flashback to Garos and Yawaru. And
Yeah,
they
who are
kind of-
apparently at odds.
They were at odds back then. They were both advising the king, and Garos is like, no, you shouldn't trust Yawaru. He has these secret ambitions.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
meanwhile Yaoru is like, we must go to war, and Garos is like, the time is not right for this, and also don't
yet.
trust Yaoru.
And you were like, man, what?
And
Fuck you.
Yeah, it's like, how dare you? Like, you could practically see that he's figuring out how to murder this guy.
Yet in the present day, Garos goes along with Team Tate very quickly without. They don't really explain why. Just yet.
Well, I guess it's the whole like, we need to cleanse this world of all the evil modernity and like get back to ancient Incan times. And I could see why Garos would be all for that.
Yeah.
So
We'll talk more about his development as a character.
I just
Yeah.
like how they meet up and they did like their wind air high
Yeah,
five.
they did like force push high five.
yeah,
Oh, that was a southern breeze. What the fuck does that mean?
just like, oh, I see you also know the secret handshake.
I see you are a man of culture.
So they air high five.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
That knowing nod.
Yeah, and we get everyone. For some reason, they are. Again, I don't even know why they're all outside at a certain point.
I don't know. Like they've. So by the time Team Kyoji gets to Garos's like temple thing,
Like it was like
the
no,
secretary's
wasn't
like, oh no, he's gone for the day. Like he went with some visitors to like his favorite
to a
like,
ridge.
Yeah, to
some like
his
mountain
favorite
cliff
ridge.
overlooking the town.
And they're like, oh no. So they run up there, and it's so dumb because like along the way, Sano stops them from running to catch the people that they're after to say, hey guys, I think something's wrong. Well, what is it? Well, I don't know really. Well, let's just keep running. I was like, why did you stop them, you fool?
I don't know if it's related to the bad guys we're chasing, but
It
It
probably is. Like, come on,
Yeah.
Sano. get a clue.
It's funny because we see Garros basically gathering what amounts to a spirit bomb.
Yeah.
And it
He's
is
very
actually a
Goku.
literal spirit bomb because it includes
It's
the
an
souls of
unwilling
people.
Genki Dama. Yeah, it's actually super creepy because it's like, oh, all those people that I've been healing this whole time have basically like I am can
Control
now
of
like
their
take
souls.
charge of their souls and like summon them to me, and then everyone who he healed like in the town below is like falling down in the street in pain and suffering.
That's why he was there really early to gather up.
Yeah, so I guess he's been working all this time to like gather all these spirits.
So he gets introduced very quickly as a one-dimensional bad guy. I mean, they never really go into like
his
Yeah.
ambitions or anything. Really.
his like
Yeah.
why he's doing what he's doing.
That's true, but I mean, when you introduce the character in like the last few episodes
Right.
of a show, like
It's pretty
there's not a
inevitable.
lot of time to really flesh them out and make them complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, I am here to summon ancient Incan things and destroy the world.
But even
So,
what's
period.
his face, Jigumi gets a little bit more development than he does, even though
That's true.
Jigumi's also straight
Yeah,
up like
Yeah, Jigumi's very
wacko
one
bad
note.
guy.
Yeah. Jigumi's like, I am here to kill people and follow Yawaru. Although I think he's mostly there just to kill people.
Yeah.
And following Yawaru is a convenient excuse to do that.
Yeah.
We have Orihan's like what we assumed was going to happen last time, where Orihan gets doubts as to what's happening.
Yeah.
He gets,
Yeah,
like,
so
they
this
fully
is like the
realized
fulfillment of like when he and Yuka are talking in the doorway and he's got no eyes. And Yuka's like, you're going to regret this. Like, you should really think about what you're doing. And then he starts to actually do that.
here. Good for him.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of showed a little bit of regret when they did the thing that we haven't
Yeah.
actually mentioned yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like he
spirit bomb
yeah,
the city.
when Garros is like basically killing people to create a spirit bomb, and Orihan's like, wait, what are you doing? Like, is this actually killing people? And he's like, yeah, but whatever. And he's like, what do you mean whatever? These
You
are people's
live,
lives.
You die. We know it's
Yeah.
kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah, life, death, it's all
He
the
was
same.
a
And
little
I'm like,
upset with the tens of thousands of people have died before the earlier episode.
It's a natural progression
Yeah.
to his arc,
yeah.
which is more than you could say for some
What
characters.
happens with the spirit bomb again? I kind of forgot.
They threw it into the ground, and
Yeah.
some like structure came out of it or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it didn't really like pay off. Like he was
It
doing this. I feel like he was doing it to show that he had a lot of spiritual power.
Yeah,
Okay.
they didn't. Nothing
But
really
there's no
happened.
like payoff.
I think they mentioned something about how it was supposed to help bring Iritese back, open
I
up
guess.
the portal or something.
It's
Which
like
makes
I think,
no
like,
sense because
they were
do
also
the praying
trying to say
thing
like he
later,
was the one who was causing the natural disasters all over the world.
That's what
Because like
they
Team Tate was like,
implied.
oh wow, are we doing this by ourselves? I don't think we could do that all by ourselves.
Yeah.
So he was either Garros is doing it on his own, or like his
Garros
efforts are like
guided that a little
intersecting
bit. Yeah.
with what they're doing,
Yeah.
trying to revive Iritese, and the result of that is all these disasters. Like it's kind of vague.
Well, Team Kyoji also catches them towards the end of it, so it's like,
Yeah,
oh, well,
so they managed to find this mysterious ridge, and it's like, no, I will stop you, and then it's like, no, I will get rebuffed by your southern wind.
It was funny in that scene because like you see like Tate's team, like they start praying and getting that barrier summoned and stuff like that. And then you see on Kyoji's side, Dan and Sano are kind of doing their own mantras and stuff, except for Kyoji, who's like, everyone else is praying, I'll get my sword.
Yeah,
That's his mode of operandi.
yeah.
He
Kyoji's
just-
not
that's
very
all he
spiritual.
does.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't pray. Like I
a
pray
sword.
with my sword.
Even in the flashbacks, he doesn't pray. He's just the
You
one
don't
that's
bring
just
your
there.
praying to a
Yeah,
sword
he's
fight.
just like a
Right.
straight up warrior.
Yeah.
Right.
Like even more than Yawaru. Like Yawaru is at least like I can multitask. I can fight you and pray.
and lead and command
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Whereas Bilko's just like, I follow when I fight.
It doesn't. It never works out for
No.
what's his name?
Kyoji.
Kyoji either.
Yeah.
He always
Yeah.
like charges.
He always
and
does the same exact
immediately
thing.
gets brushed aside or swatted aside.
Yeah,
by
I'm
something.
like, for someone who's supposed to have trained in kendo, it's like if the same thing doesn't work over and over again, like maybe try a different tactic.
Kyoji reminds me of a character from this more successful podcast, The Adventure Zone. It's like Kyoji rushes in all the time. Like, doesn't even matter how it goes for what his initiative role is in this D&D fight. It's just like, nope,
Just like
rush.
always rushing.
Kyoji, what will you do? I rush.
That was
rush with my
how
sword.
I
Runs head
determined
on.
that I am the worst paladin ever, because the one time that I was a paladin, that's what I did.
You just kept
And,
rushing in?
Yeah, kept rushing in, and I got close to death a lot for being the tank. It was really I was like, okay,
That's why you
Karen
don't
will
rush
never
in.
be a paladin.
You wait for your supports to follow you. You group up.
You need to start like preparing with your shield or whatever first. Like,
I was so bad as a paladin. Never tell me to be a paladin. Ever.
Yeah, Kyoji's also
go
terrible.
play a rogue or an archer.
Did you think it was going to be like Voltron?
That was before Voltron.
Not that kind of paladin.
That was like
different
like
kind
6
of
years
paladin.
ago.
So Team Kyoji is beaten up on the ground.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Yuka is also there.
She got there.
She's
And
there.
basically, like, they ransom Team Kyoji to Yuka. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna kill them unless you come with us." And she's like, I guess I'll go with you.
Very classical plot.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Kyoji's like on the ground, can't get up, and he's like, "No, don't go with them."
That's pretty much the end of the episode.
Yeah.
That's the end of that episode.
And I'm like, this exact scenario seems to have repeated itself multiple times by now.
this is like the third time at least that
Yeah.
this happens.
And it's not going to be the last either.
Well,
Or is it?
yes. Yeah, because in the next episode, episode 10, we finally get like the flashback to almost the full battle that happened back in technically the ancient Incan time. Well, anime's version of ancient Incan times with spandex and gravity-defying hair.
Yeah. Oh, this time we actually get to meet Atahualpa, who is the guy
We've
that
met him before.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, this time he actually gets to do more.
Yes.
Because I didn't remember him from the earlier episodes, but
He was just
he's the
kind of
guy
like-
who Bilka is
Following.
So, and
I think. Well, they said it's a civil war, so
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I
between,
feel like
it's
he's
between
like the
Atahualpa.
prince.
Yeah, it's between Atahualpa and Huascar.
Yeah.
yeah.
Huascar.
I'm more amazed that you guys can remember all these names because
Well, they
I've
misspelled
totally just been
Huascar like fucking 9 different ways in this thing. It was like
So Dennis is never gonna forget that.
Huascar, Husakar, Huascuar. I'm like,
Whose car?
yeah, whose car is it anyway? Dude, whose car is that?
Dude, where's
Where's the
God.
car?
Who did this again?
There's a lot of typos.
There's lots.
Does
Of
it
Issues with the U.S.
Yeah,
release.
fucking Jenny on. Damn you.
Episode 10 is mostly the flashback plus lots of talking episode.
Yeah,
not
there
much
was
actually
There's
happened.
a lot of
exposition
flashbacks,
on this
like
one.
present day and then sudden flashback. Present day, oh flashback.
Present day, what are we even fighting for anyway? I don't know. There was a weird time to put that kind
Yeah.
of thing in.
It's like we're 10 episodes in.
It's a
and
little
then you
late
gotta
for
figure out.
that.
Right? I mean, he already had this thought too when he was like thrown down into the river by Shiogami. He was what am I even doing? I don't understand, but I don't want to die. I gotta fight. All while drowning.
That's the same as his I hate you, Tate. No, I truly respect you. So he keeps going back and forth.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like, oh, I
very
must stop you.
wishy-washy.
Oh no, master! Like, don't like.
I will turn
You know.
you. I will stop you. I will kill you. I respect you. I will turn you.
Yeah, clearly it's complicated. Ugh.
So we see in the flashback we see the disaster that will happen or that did happen once Iriates is fully unleashed.
Yeah, like all of the green earth was like turned into desert. So I guess like, that's what happened to Peru.
No,
It's a
that's
desert because
weirdly
someone
not
messed up.
all of Iriates because they stopped it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
back in the
Started
past.
so like things blew up and was destroyed, but
Yeah.
But Atahualpa
Yeah.
sacrificed himself to appease the gods, and
then
closes the door, I guess.
not really, because everyone else jumped in too.
Yeah, no, it was weird because Atahualpa's like, I will sacrifice myself, and then everyone else jumps in.
Yaru
and then-
follows, and then
Yawaru's like,
follows.
oh, I must stop you, so I will jump in.
And
And
Bilko's
then
like, no, I will stop
Bilka-
you, so I will also jump in.
Yeah.
And then Jigumi's like, no, I'm the one who's going to kill you. I will jump in. And then for some reason, like, Sano and
Yeah, I feel like all the rest of the people
Yeah,
who we've
Dan.
met so
I
far
don't
end up
remember
either
their own
jumping in
names.
or getting sucked in somehow. like whether they were volunteering for this or not. So they're like inside the door of Iriatese or something.
My favorite scene.
It was so bizarre.
I love it so much. It was weird and terrible and amazing all at the same time.
So it's like there's this white background, like they're in like the empty room of the Matrix.
God.
but it's like a
there's
puddle.
quicksand.
And then they're
Yeah,
sinking
they're
into
sinking into the
liquid or something,
Yeah.
and just glaring at each other
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah.
They're going to the throne of heroes.
In 100 years, I'll come back.
Yeah,
and
Yaru,
defeat you.
Yaru basically makes like not even a threat, it's a promise. Like I will come back in hundreds of years. I promise you I will get reincarnated in hundreds of years and I will reawaken the power of Iriatese.
Like it's like 100
and Belko's
years.
like, well then I'll get reincarnated too and I'll stop you.
Just like this is amazing.
So
Oh
they're
my
like
god, this is
sinking
amazing.
into the quicksand floor here.
They're just like eye glaring at each other
Yeah.
angrily as they
Do
sing.
you not get reincarnated except every 300 years?
I don't know.
Is that how that works?
I think it was more than 300.
Yeah, we have no idea.
I probably have
what
to
the
like,
rules
a
look
couple
into the
thousand
lore. Or the mythology of it.
Someone look
I
up Warrior
still
Bilka.
think it's really confusing that they in the flashback they say that the priestess is required to sacrifice herself by absorbing the powers, but then apparently a different sacrifice stops Iriatese, so it's like a
it
weird...
stops
It's
and it
weird.
didn't stop because there were still repercussions that happened. Like if
Yeah.
the priestess actually did it, she would be in full control and be able to do whatever is needed.
Yeah.
But it would also cost her life.
Yeah.
Right.
When in this case it was like, they're like, I will sacrifice myself in order to stop Iriatese from unleashing the full power. Like, okay, but like 10% is going to leak out and destroy you guys. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a lot of collateral
Yeah.
damage.
I think
Because
that's
it
what's
was an
happening.
incomplete ceremony.
Yeah. So that's technically what's happening back in the past, and that's what they're trying to prevent now.
I don't even remember why he was trying to release Iriatese in the past. Like, was it just to like punish Atahualpa for like trying to
Probably.
rebel?
No,
Like,
it's
that
kind
seems
of
a
the
little
same thing.
over the
It's
top.
just-
Yeah, I think it was still cleansing.
Oh,
yeah, cleansing.
So, like, the world was not pure enough back in Incan times, and apparently, at least for Yawado, the world is not pure enough right now. Like,
No,
really?
it's definitely not now. No.
Bring in the dinosaurs.
Dirty.
back.
Yeah, so I guess he's just a dinosaur fanboy.
Yaru found out that the internet existed and was like, "Unpure, we
Oh,
must clean
yeah.
this."
Did anything else happen in that episode?
I don't remember what
I
else
don't think
happened in
so.
this because like the last
so
few
much
kind
of
of
it
just
was
all
the
blend
flashback.
together.
Yeah, because they've
Well, the-
Down
set
to
the
the-
stage for the final battle, and then
We have we had Daimon heal all team.
Oh, yeah, so Team Kyoji that basically they...
Oh, yeah.
So
They're lying on
Yuka
the
went
ground.
with Team Tate in return for sparing Team Kyoji's lives. And so they get just left on this ridge, like near a forest. And then they wake up and like Daimon has come back and he's healing them. And he's like, yeah, this is all I could do for you. And then he goes back to like Team Tate's hideout where Yuka's being kept. And it's like, yeah, they're going to send me out to kill them. And I'm going to leave for a while. So you should escape now. And she's like, no, I'm going to like see this through. But I'm like, what does that actually mean, Yuka? What are you really planning on doing? Because she's never really done much. Like when she actually gets in a pinch, like she just ends up kind of going with whatever ends up happening.
She's not a fighter.
Well, she
Well, I think
said-
it is the next episode where we find out what she's doing from
Yeah.
Kyoji, and we don't know how he
Yeah.
knows, but
Yeah.
that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Team Kyoji gets healed by Daimon, even though he's like, you guys like shouldn't move or leave or do anything for a while. And Kyoji's like, no, I must get up. Oh, fall down. Oh, I must get up some more. Oh, fall down. It's like failing a roll. It's like, oh no, I rush to save Yuka. Nope, you fail, you fall down. Oh, I'm gonna rush again. Oh, you fail, you fall down again.
Yep.
And meanwhile, Dan and Seino are like, no, Kyoji, just like take a break. Like we need to rest up.
I do like at the end of the episode, like, Kyoji, you okay? You awake? Like, yeah, I'm gonna go. Like, no, you should heal up. I'm fine. I slept. I'm like, you are not a shonen protagonist, all right?
All he just needs is a cup of coffee.
Well, again with the D&D reference,
some sleep.
he just slept and he healed himself. So there you go.
So he's got like barely enough to manage to like
he
move
power
around.
Literal power nap.
Yeah, so I think we just blend these last two episodes together because they kind of go hand in hand.
There's no point in separating it out by episode at this point.
They set everything up, like obviously, what's his face? Tate suspects that Daimon didn't actually finish off Kyoji's team. So, like, Shiogami and Tatsuko are, like, hanging back, trying to be, like, guards and stuff. And we run into like, wait, why are they positioned at like the roof of this temple rather than at the doorway of this temple thing instead?
To get the higher ground.
Yeah. Higher ground.
Further vantage point.
A fat chance it does for them because they just kind of let Team Kyoji like waltz in there unaffected, but then they run into the barrier again.
Yeah.
That barrier's still up. They still don't.
It's a great, they run right into it and they're like, oh, what was that?
Yeah, like it was
you
funny.
Had this last time.
Yeah. Sano
was
like
discussion of like they're gonna use the priest to find
Sano's
a hole in the barrier, and so they're running, and then he's like, no, stop. They keep going.
Yeah.
Bam.
I'm just like, wait,
he said stop. You guys.
Yeah.
Go up.
Yeah.
And we also get Tatsuko having her own doubts now about like either how she feels about Shiogami or like what they plan to do after all this is over, like what's going to happen. And,
I guess she assumed that he would just go off with her, and then found out that he was just like, yeah,
I'm gonna keep following Yoru and kill more people, I guess.
If there are any more people to
and
kill,
then she got so upset about that. She got extremely upset.
Like, this is not new to you.
No,
this is not new to you.
I know, but it's weird.
But oh well.
He ends up like attacking her.
Yeah. So he and her are at the top of the temple door, and what's his name? Sano and Dan arrive, and Shiogami's ready to fight them, and she's like, I don't know if I want to fight. So Shiogami decides, well, if you're not going to fight, you're no use to me, and I guess slashes her. It's not really clear
well,
exactly
it's weird
what he does.
like he seems to cut her, and then she falls off the roof here and like lands on the ground.
First into the ground.
Like I figured like she's dead.
But no,
Oh,
she's fine.
Yeah, and then like Dan is like, oh no, like I will fight him, and then she's like, and he gets distracted and he gets slashed.
It's like, good job, Dan. You did nothing. You literally did nothing there except getting attacked.
Yeah.
Thus leaving
Well, they decide that Kyoji's going to go off first. With Sano, and to find a way through the barrier while Dan stays behind to stop Shiogami from chasing them.
The Kyoji Shiogami fight actually, like, what happened in there seemed interesting, but there wasn't enough to, I feel,
well, it's basically like
impactful.
Kyoji's a main character. He has to fight the main boss, not the sub boss.
Yeah, but
like that's why Dan is there.
You could have showed like Kyoji's growth as a warrior or something, because all we get is like, oh, look at me cut these like hanging paper things on the tree.
But like Kyoji hasn't had any
strong.
growth as a warrior. That's the whole thing. Like he just has the same tactics all the way through. Like he doesn't really evolve as a character.
But he's the main character.
Until the very end of that fight where
he gets
like
his
shoots
own
wind out
like,
of
air
his
attack.
sword or something.
Yeah.
And where did
then
that come from?
And he doesn't bother to be like, oh, what was that? Or, oh, I'm so glad I learned that, or anything.
He just can't run off.
Well, like didn't Tate do that to him a couple of times before, like earlier episodes? Like
probably
hit him with like some wind attack.
Yeah, but we never see him being like, I must study how to fight Tate.
Well, he didn't even do it himself. He used his sidekicks to conjure it up.
No, he did it.
He
this
did it.
this time. Like he basically had a glowy aura around him, and I don't know if he absorbed or deflected or nullified Shiogami's attack, and then he shot off his own. I'm going to assume that he nullified it, and he was like, "Take my version of your wind attack." Rah. I thought that was actually going to kill Shiogami. So,
well, I guess like no one actually really dies
or
in
like
this.
at least knocked him out.
There's
like
no
like
permanent stakes
very
here.
But those
Small
tens of
permanent
thousands
except,
of people.
except the tens of thousands of people.
Yeah, all the people in that town who died like off screen.
Tens of thousands who died.
Yeah. Oh, and then like what's Elila's like real name? Do you remember?
Tatsuko.
Oh, Tatsuko. Yeah. So actually, she's pretty sturdy because she gets like cut with a sword, falls off a roof onto the ground, and still lives.
She's still conscious, and Dan like takes her
Yeah, and
into
then
the
Dan
temple
takes
or
her
what,
like
somewhere.
basically does some first aid where he like wraps up her wrist, and she's like, "Okay, I'm good to go."
Doesn't he say something about aloe too? So it's
Yes,
like,
he put some aloe extract on it, and I'm like, okay, so
where'd
Dan the
aloe
Mountain
come
Man
Is that in his backpack?
he's like hiding like emergency coffee and a first aid kit on his,
Emergency coffee.
Dude,
in his
important.
pockets.
he is outdoor savvy, so
No,
He
he
was like a
takes,
Boy Scout.
He takes just the
tell by
coffee
those
beans
socks.
and the aloe leaves themselves.
Oh, that's
And
true. Yeah, he
he's-
probably would like grind his coffee fresh by like smashing
by
it between
hand.
rocks.
By hand.
So literally using
And he
his
just
hands.
rubbed a bunch of aloe leaves on her.
Yeah,
That's all.
Yeah.
Ow,
I buy it.
ow,
I buy it.
ow, ooh, ouch.
I buy
Ouchie.
it. He just tore a little bit of the aloe leaf to use. As
I know aloe is good for sunburns, but is it good for like deep lacerations?
No, I don't think so. It's okay.
But it's
he does his best.
soothing.
He does his best.
And then she gets all starry eyed.
Yeah, well, this is like right after she's like, "But do you really love me?" And he's like, "No, I was just playing around with you." To her brother, who like cuts her and pushes her off a roof.
half brother.
Half brother, yeah, whatever.
And
Are they even
they made
really
out.
related?
They made out.
They are
somehow.
half brothers, yes,
Yeah.
or half siblings. They're half like siblings. But we get another
Well,
flashback.
they have the same hairstyle, so clearly they're related.
Wow.
We
Yeah.
get another flashback to Dan's and Tatsuko's former lives, where
Yeah.
again,
Yeah,
he's
they were
like-
actually like
A couple.
engaged.
Well, he asked her in the last disc. He asked her to marry her too, like during a battle, and in this one, they're just
They're in a different
standing
battle.
on a building or
Or
not
a
in a
ridge.
battle.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It
and
looked
she's like,
a ridge.
you shouldn't love me because I'm just a warrior. And he's like, no, but I love you.
don't care what you do.
Yeah.
Good for
And
them.
see, it's like really Tatsuko, like understand that like Dan is the right guy for you. But I don't know. When we were watching it, we are just kind of like, man, she just really she falls for anybody who does anything nice for her.
Yeah.
Well,
She's sweet
you know
very
who
easily.
she's with all the time.
Yeah.
So Seno and Kyoji, meanwhile, find, I guess, another weakness in the barrier or something that Seno
Yeah.
can
And Dan meets
try
up
and
with them
force
after
open.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically Seno opens a small hole in the barrier, and the two of like Dan and Kyoji jump through, and they're like, "Come on, Seno!" And it's like, I can't keep it open any
It's
longer.
funny too because the opening is smaller than they are, so I thought that they would have to like dive through or something
Yeah.
like that. No, they just fucking waltz
walk.
right in.
It's animated
like,
very
whatever.
weirdly.
Yeah.
Like you see the line of the hole of the opening still in front of like them the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, guys,
It was a little lazy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
you say it's okay, but we all know it's not.
By it's okay, I mean if we nitpicked every error in this show, we would be doing these episodes for
That's
you
true.
know,
It'd be a
12
three-hour
hours long,
podcast.
so we can't afford to do that.
We finally get down to the final fight, or maybe
Final countdown.
they're
Final fight,
doing
question mark.
they're doing this summoning with Garos,
Tate.
Orehan, Tate, Yuka.
But Yuka's
And-
not doing anything. She's just standing there.
Well-
They're all chanting, whatever the Iriatese chant
They're
thing
standing
is.
on the bird.
They're charging her up.
points.
Yeah.
Oh, is this where we find out what Yuka's plan is per Kyoji? I think
Yeah,
around this
I
time.
think so.
Kyoji is like, we have to stop her because she's going to plan to take all of the energy into herself and then blow up so she'll kill all of the others. And it's like, how did you know this, first of all?
Yeah.
But-
Because they're connected by fate and destiny and stuff. Yeah.
And there's more flashbacks to the old high priestess or whatever she is. I don't know who she is.
Yeah, the I don't know if she's actually the old high priestess because
She's
the old
like
high
a
priestess
elder.
died.
matron. She's
Yeah.
an
She's some
elder or
kind of
something.
temple elder.
Matriarch.
Yeah.
And she's the one that info dumps that, the priestess is the one that can take all the Iriates energy in herself and use it at the
It's
cost of her
high
life.
elder priestess
Yeah.
or something. I don't know.
Is she like the main priestess?
No, she's not the main one because that's what.
That's what Yuka's
Yeah, I
Yuka's
guess.
the
Like,
high
yeah.
priestess.
was appointed as. Anyway.
I just like
So-
that very scientific method of determining who in the village is the next high priest.
Yeah. Beam of light.
Lights in the air, one light down. That's where she is. Like, what? What? Oh, okay. There's like two females right there. How do you know?
Yeah, what if they got the wrong one? Oh no.
Ancient magic.
Yeah, we get what we think is going to be the actual showdown, but no, it actually isn't, because Daimon then reveals his hand, which involves changing of the animal lights, the different Nazca lines,
I guess.
instead. Activating some other different power to try to betray Tate, and Tate's like, aha, I knew it. I knew you betrayed
He
me.
like shoots electric
Like
beams
black lightning
out
at
of
him or
the,
something.
Yeah, lightning out of the sky, and he's like, "Hi, yay!" And I'm like, I don't know how you seem to think that was going to do anything, but whatever.
But then Garros is like, "Ha! You let your guard down, Yawaru." And
Twist!
dun dun dun, and he like makes ropes out of the symbols on
Nazca
the ground
lines, yeah.
of that lines and restrains Yawaru. I guess.
I will use
guess.
Area Tesse for myself. Wahahaha. Which I'm like, what?
Yeah, wait, this
kinda
is like
came out of nowhere.
it gets. Yeah, I can see why, because in the flashback they didn't really seem to be working
Right.
for the same goals
Right.
that they wouldn't right now. But it's Garos's goal seems to be like, I'm going to bring back the Incan Empire, and Yawaru's goal is like, I'm going to kill half the people on Earth to purify it.
Yeah, so I guess it's not mutually compatible, but
I guess it's bizarre, because I guess Yawaru's like, no, I don't want to bring back the Incan Empire. I just want to kill a lot of people.
I want to know how this Iriatese is supposed to, like, it's just a destructive force, so
Yeah.
I want to know how it can be so specific to bring
Well,
back
that's
the
the
Incas.
that's the whole usage of having Yuka being the one that channels it, because being able to control that power, and I guess between those two guys, if they're able to control that through Yuka, that's how they're able to achieve the goal. But
that plot thread resolves rather quickly as
Yeah.
we find out that Garros is way in over his head and he gets sucked into some
Yeah, then it's
symbol
like,
in the sky and then
Bye
just,
bye,
like,
Garros. Like,
disappears.
never hear from him again.
poof. So
is
much for
this
that.
is this when jukebox thing happens or not yet?
I think it's right after.
Yeah, and then the jukebox in the sky reappears.
And sucks all of them in again into hallucinogenic
I'm wondering if-
CG land.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Garros was actually the vessel for the temple.
Could be.
Maybe.
I never
well,
thought
he
about
did
that
have
until now.
that. He did have that
Key thing.
The key thing,
Mm-hmm.
and he did like take the power out of.
I guess
Yuka.
whoever holds that is the vessel.
Possibly.
You're basically sacrificing, like in the
Yeah.
Scorpion King with the bracelet.
Wow. Wow.
It all ties together.
I don't think I've ever thought that we were gonna have a Scorpion King reference on this podcast.
Hey, I'd love to see The Rock in an anime. Or here.
I want to
would be
imagine The Rock
amazing.
voicing someone in anime.
Oh, wow.
Ghibli needs to a movie where they can put a character
God, if
for The Rock.
if Porco Rosso came out later, The Rock as the main head guy of the Mama Yuto gang would have been amazing.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
But that's just fan wish.
Okay, Miss
fulfillment.
Or I mean, just have The Rock redub every single Ghibli movie.
Ah,
Every character.
that'd be pretty funny.
The new YouTube series, The Rock Does. Ghibli.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
The Rock does Totoro.
And then the YouTube channel is named The Rock Does Stuff.
Or would it be The Rock dub stuff?
Oh shit.
No, he got a dub Dragon Ball.
The Rock is Nappa.
Wow.
Including Ghost Nappa.
Oh, I'm having more fun imagining this than talking about this anime.
Okay.
All right.
Sadly, we have to drag ourselves back to Nazca.
Right, so
almost
everyone
done.
gets
Yeah, we're almost
teleported to actual Nazca and back
Yeah.
into their ancient Incan costumes.
Yeah,
And it turns
it's
out that
really handy that everybody looks exactly as they did in ancient
we
Incan
get
times.
the a little bit of the opening scene happening because everyone just gets birthed from the ground somehow. It's like
Just like
poof.
That's still my favorite part in the opening. I don't know why.
the part where they come
fluid.
out of the
Fancy.
ground.
It's very fluid and everything. That's
Where they float out of the ground.
Yeah.
They do save some of the best animation for these last episodes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they do.
Clearly, they
As you do.
save the budget for the climax.
A lot of it looked really nice. I will say that too. Even on this having to upscale these really old Pioneer DVDs, because there are some scenes where it's like, oh, that animation looks rough. But these
Yeah.
this last episode
Very
looked really good.
inconsistent.
Yeah, the CG work is like very obviously CG, especially with the bizarre textures they put on everything.
They should have got that French
But-
guy from Pop Team to do it.
Yeah. The one who doesn't speak Japanese? I wonder how he managed to talk himself into a job, you know?
Idea. I mean, well, they use like I know a few foreigners that do in between.
Well, they can probably speak
They
well
can
enough
probably
to like
speak
actually
Japanese,
Fair-
though.
like get a job though.
Actually,
Yeah.
it's one that doesn't really.
He
Speak
must have had
at
some
all.
kind of connections.
Yeah, maybe someone was
Because
like, "Oh, I'll like
he's a
interpret for you,"
friend
and they're
of a
like,
friend.
"He knows
Yeah.
Japanese well enough, right?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, sure."
Well, I guess he and some of the studio employees talk in English.
Oh,
So
that's
that
what
would
I
make
heard.
sense. Yeah.
But I don't know how he got a job with that resume.
Maybe his resume was good enough. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, back
Yeah,
to us.
anyway, yes. They're all in their Inca costumes and they're all back in Inca times.
Yeah, so clearly this is time for the final showdown because we get like Tate wearing Yawaru's clothes, even though he's like, I am Yawaru, but I'm also Tate. And Kyoji wearing Bilka's clothes, although like halfway through he goes back to wearing Kyoji clothes.
Yeah, he focuses or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's like
he
Kyoji,
likes
out of
his
everybody,
Yeah,
Kyoji's
he likes
the
being
least
himself.
like invested in his ancient Inca RPG
I
character.
feel like Dan is the least invested.
Yeah, that's true.
He's just like whatever.
Yeah,
Dan just goes
Dan's
with the
kind of like, I can
flow.
take it or leave it. Kyoji's like, I'm not in this at all. Like, you know what? I just can't RP.
Well, they're basically sent exactly back where they started from, like kind of Groundhog's Day-ish. But they have memories. They all have memories
Yeah.
of what's
Was-
going on.
That was after the failed ceremony, so everybody else is
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah, yeah. So
all the
thousands
dead
of people
people
are
are alive, I
dead,
guess.
and these, like, I don't know, dozen people are still alive.
So we have a couple different angles going on at the same
So it's
time.
like, here's your second chance. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, we can stop all this tragedy from occurring the first time rather than the second time. Except, can they really?
well,
Well, it's post
Yuka is
ceremony,
waiting
so
for
it's,
the
everything's already destroyed.
Yuka's
Oh.
waiting for the door to open.
Yeah.
So she can get the
But
power.
she magically appears on the
well,
precipice.
different people get teleported to different places.
Yeah, I mean,
in the
especially
science. It's like-
considering that, Seino and Jigumi and Tatsuko were all outside of the barrier, and yet they all end up at the scene here, kind of, in the same pile as everybody else.
yeah, they don't really do anything though.
That's true.
Except for Jigumi Shiogami. He's the only one that does
Oh,
something.
right. Jigumi.
Yeah.
So Yuka is waiting for the door to open. Yawaru knows that she's going to do this thing, so he's waiting for the door to open so he can kill her at the right moment, I
Yeah.
guess. And then Kyoji is trying to stop Yawaru, and then Jigumi is trying to stop Kyoji. So these are like the bunch of threads that are all happening
he
at the
keeps
same time.
creeping up in the back of the shot.
Yeah, that was
It's really kinda funny.
amazing. That's amazing. It reminded me
Like a shot of Kyoji, and you're like, purple hair.
Yeah.
Next shot, purple head.
It's pretty comedic. It's probably not intended to be, but oh, and Dan is then like the interposer between Jigumi and Kyoji.
Yeah. It's like, I will stop Jigumi.
It's a lot of people that just interfere in the middle of
Yeah.
a lot of stabbing
Yeah.
moments in this last episode.
Dan stops Jigumi, like, don't interfere. And then Bilka stops Yaru, don't interfere.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
drama going on here.
There's a good Bilka Yaoru fight.
Yeah,
though.
this is probably the best
this is
animated
the
version
best
of it.
actual fight we get between
The
the
only
two.
nitpick I have is like, why do their teeth grow into like fangs for some
Yeah.
reason?
Yeah.
Show how
Well, their
they're
face
guess
got
the
all
Well, I
Yes,
feel like
for
if
your
someone
spirit.
else was animating some of these cuts because the animation style really changed
Yeah.
drastically,
Yeah, it
but
changed a
only
lot.
for a few shots.
Yeah. But it looked very fluid though. Like,
Yeah, it was well done. I assume they just like hired somebody who's like, yeah, this guy's a great like keyframe artist, and then like he actually comes in and they get the animation back and they're like, oh, this is really different than what
I also
what
think
the rest
they're
of the show looks like.
Oh, it went on too long, or oh, we can't afford all that much, so we have to cut some and not pay you for that because that fight should have been longer.
Oh yeah, it is sort of the climax fight of the show.
Yeah, it doesn't really finish all that like flashy and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
like obviously nothing's going to live up to the Princess Bride sword fight.
Well,
even
really,
animated, it
yeah,
won't be.
it's supposed to be the best sword fight of all time. But in this show, like they don't even really finish the fight; it just sort of becomes a stalemate.
Kind of, like
Well,
Tate
they would have
as-
finished the fight.
yeah, like
They would've finished-
Yaru gets the upper hand, and then he
Well, first Kyoji has his sword.
that's what I'm saying. Yaru gets the
Yaru.
upper hand. Like he knocks Kyoji's sword away, and as Kyoji's reaching for it, like Yaru like stabs him in the leg, and then stabs him in the hand that's reaching for the sword.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, like Akira is like trying to stop the power of Iriatese from getting released, and so there's nothing she can do. But Bilka and Kyoji kind of remembers like what her final words were, or not final, but like the last couple of words that she mentally said to him. I'm not really sure. It was like,
It's not very clear.
it's not very clear whether she conveyed these feelings or not, but he's remembering that she is, like protect the future and protect yourself and whatnot. So before the last blow can be dealt to Bilka, Kyoji somehow does grab the sword and does this sweet spinning
Left-handed.
move. Yeah,
Left-handed.
left-handed. Sweet spinning move to like hit Tate back and push him back. I don't know how far he pushed him back because Kyoji definitely ran for many, many seconds.
he pushed him back like I don't know, a quarter mile.
Yeah, I guess. With the left hand. and rushes at him and basically has Tate finally like at his mercy, like sword to neck type thing.
But then it's the other sword. But then he switches back to present day.
Reverts to Kyoji, and instead of their Incan sword, it's the katana that they had in Japan. The one that he always brings and rushes in with.
And then he's like, I can't kill you. I respect you too much.
So dumb. This is the dumbest. It was silly and dumb.
And Tate's like, you shouldn't have done that.
As the usual, I'm going to have my feelings right now. I'm also going to close my eyes because that's what you do when you're having such deep feelings. So, yeah.
And
So-
then Tate swings. And
Yeah,
then there's a...
This last
Cut somebody.
scene right here, like you see Tate look like he is going to stab Kyoji,
Right.
but instead he is stabbing Shiogami.
Yes.
But he's in his Jigumi Incan persona. So how do you guys interpret this as?
Yeah,
We
we
had
debated a couple ways. One
discussion.
is that Jigumi was about to kill Kyoji when he was not paying attention, and
And Tate stopped him.
Stops him by stabbing him, and then they both fall into the gate or whatever.
Or the other way would be that Jigumi steps in front of the blade because he's like, no, I'm the one to kill Bilka,
Right.
not you, Tate.
Yeah.
So those are I feel like they're two strong interpretations of this.
I personally feel like Tate stabbed him on purpose,
Stabbed who?
actually, to stop him. Because
Jigumi.
he did, like... There was some slight wavering when Kyoji was talking to him
Yeah.
a little bit. Like he was reverting back to Tate.
I feel the same way.
Mentor Tate.
I feel the same way. I feel like
Yeah,
he
especially
stopped
this is the part where
Jigumi.
Kyoji's like, but you're my teacher, like you're my mentor,
Yeah.
rather than like you're Yawaru, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And we had a few flashback scenes of like them having ramen out, like when they were training and whatnot. So I feel that way too. And does anyone feel it's the other way where
No.
Jigumi's the one who stopped?
No,
Okay,
I agree with that.
okay, we're all in
especially
agreement.
because we don't really get anything from Jigumi in this scene other than like, oh, he was
He just
clearly inching up and then then he gets stabbed by
and he just
Yawaru.
he just yells Bilka.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like Bilka.
Well, I guess like his motives for like him being the one to kill Bilka are not as noble.
Yeah.
Like they don't go above Yawaru's desire to do what he's trying to do.
They don't drive all that well.
Yeah, especially because like even back in the past, like Jigumi doesn't like Bilka because Yawaru complimented him.
Yeah.
Because
Jealous.
Yawata's like, oh, this Bilka guy really gave me a fight. Like, he's
Jealous
one to watch. And then
boyfriend.
Jigumi's like, ooh, that Bilka, I'll get him.
So as they're falling into the gate, Tate and Jigumi. So Tate's like, "Oh, take us as your sacrifice to appease." So he's basically designating themselves as the new sacrifice, so that Ariatese doesn't destroy the world,
Get unleashed and whatnot.
It's kind of against this whole goal in the first place, but I guess he really had a 180 in this last few seconds.
Yeah.
Akira tries to like hold on to Tate and be like, "No, I want to go with you. I will die and sacrifice myself with you as well." And then Tate just sort of pushes her out of her state of suspended floatiness.
Holds her
like,
back.
Kyoji, take care of her.
Technical term.
So, and that's kind of where it ends, which, you don't really get much resolution. We find out that Daimon is not dead. We kind of thought he was dead. But other than that,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
really, like everything
we did
reverses
sort of-
itself.
we did
The
sort of
only
skip
people
that
who
he
are gone are
sacrificed himself,
Yowaru and Shiogami.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Garos.
I'm pretty sure
Oh,
they
and
like
Garos.
replenished everyone's.
but we don't
Health
see,
and whatnot.
did all those spirit bombed people die?
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah.
they don't matter, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Did
Tens of
Tatsuko
thousands
end
of
up
people
with
died.
Dan? We don't see that,
Does
Yeah.
Dan ask her out for some coffee?
God,
yes.
no, he has to.
Oh, I
make
want to
her
see
it.
that.
No,
like,
he's gonna make her
a
coffee.
cup. That's
I
right.
needed
Yeah,
like a
just-
post-credit scene that's just like Dan's coffee date with Tatsuko.
Just kind of like, I mean, you don't even see the prayer temple does not appear again either, because that was what transported them back to the past. It just kind of
It just
faded
fades
back
into
into
it,
the
yeah.
present in their regular clothes.
It was kind of neat though. Like the mountain ridge that they were on that led to the prayer temple became just like this random like pointy hill
Yeah.
that they were on. I'm like,
Sharp.
oh, that's kind of neat. Okay, I'll take
And
it.
then
I'll take it.
Kyoji's just like, everything returned to normal. Nothing really changed, but some things did. And then you get
Yeah.
credits,
But
and you're
only
like,
if
roll
you
credits.
know.
And
but what?
the
Wasn't there
Tate
natural disasters and
the
like
Tate
people
fan-
died?
Maybe it got reversed because technically, didn't they go back in time?
No, they don't
I
make
don't-
that clear.
Yeah,
at
they
all.
don't mention that.
Who
But
knows how that works?
The
Time
Tate
travel.
fan club remains at 2. So.
But who's the president?
Kyoji.
Yeah, it's
Are you
gotta
sure?
be Kyoji.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure. I'm
Kyoji's
sure.
one of-
100% sure it's
President.
Kyoji.
Yeah.
I'm just like I feel like I can't really understand the resolution of this show because it's Kyoji and Yuka crying over Tate being gone after all the shit that they went through.
Yeah.
After all the times that we're like, we are trekking all over Japan to try to stop this guy from destroying the world, but we're really sad that he's gone.
Oh well. And that concludes Nazca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get into voices, I want to talk about the bonus features because we
Oh,
kept
yeah.
forgetting to talk about those.
Oh yeah,
The other time. So, yeah.
Yes, the
What do you-
little comics.
There's
That's the only
s-
bonus feature.
Yeah.
yeah. Honestly, like that's what
Hey,
keeps
that's more
me
than a lot
feeling
of
like
old
the show
series.
creators were pretty level-headed because they included these mini comics on all of the volumes that are like they're so silly and they're making fun of the characters, and I'm like, oh, okay, so at least like the show, the anime staff like realized that no, yeah, these people are ridiculous.
Yeah, so there's these comics that are drawn in super deformed style, where they all the characters are part of the Incan research club.
Yeah. So basically, like, we were part of the Kendo Club, but our instructor's making an Inca Research Club and making everybody join. I guess we have to join. Like, I don't know what's going on.
So you just see Tate doing weird stuff, and the other characters reacting to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tate looks like crazy.
He's like, "We're gonna go out on a club trip and train by praying a lot, or something."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And it's like, if you don't do this, then I will kill you. And they're like, oh, okay, I guess we better do it then.
And then
It's pretty amazing.
in the last disc that we just saw, we see the resolution is that we find out that Tate acted funny ever since Yuka broke up with him and punched him.
Yeah, so they're like,
Knock
okay,
something
we
loose in
need
his
to give
head.
him a similar kind of shock, and that'll like shock him out of this like ancient Inca reincarnation kick that he's on. So they try to shock him by like tying him up, and then Yuka like somersaults in and kicks him.
And I guess it apparently works, except that he still dresses like an Incan, but
They said it half worked.
he acts nice. He acts nice.
So
though.
he's
It's
still
okay.
wearing his like headdress, but he's wearing like a business suit.
And he has a sword.
Yeah.
Sword in a restaurant.
Yeah, it's amazing. It was really fun.
And then like each issue we get like Jigumi kind of lurking in the background with this like crazy grin on his face.
The usual.
You know, just like standard material.
So
Like you do.
Yeah.
So those were fun. There's no other extras on these discs, unfortunately. Or well, I don't know.
Yeah, is
It's
that
fortunate or
unfortunate?
not.
Like,
or unfortunate.
I wonder how they actually marketed this show back in the day because
Yeah.
I'm like, it's
Yeah.
you know,
Well, it was during the time period of all those reincarnation shows, anyways,
Yeah.
right? So
Well, we'll get into our.
Shiogami,
so
our-
it's. I mean, I
everything
can
else.
see why maybe it was popular back in the past, but it's a little
Oh, it wasn't reincarnated.
it's a little tired these days.
So how about those voices?
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready, Eve? Who we
She's
doing
getting her
today?
list.
First, we got Dan the Man, the Mountain Man.
Oh yeah.
He is voiced by Murozono Takehiro. He's Al in Full Metal Panic, Vato Fallman in Full Metal Alchemist. Wait, did I say?
Fallman? Fallman?
He's, I'm probably going to say this wrong. Hilius in Appleseed 13. Kato in...
Sounds right.
Okay. Got Kato in Grappler Baki, which is coming back, Baki.
That's right. As like that megalo thing. No. That's Ashitano Joe.
Oh my
Different.
god!
Different fighting thing.
Oh my god, dude!
Sorry.
Wow.
All those names just went over my head. I was like, whatever.
He's Reichiro Miyanoshita, Satsuki's dad in our favorite ghost stories.
Should watch that someday.
Some dude named Pyle in Escaflowne.
Yeah.
Kazuki Yotsuga in Tenchi GXP. Java let Daka in Rave in the Rave fairy tale crossover. And Katsuo in El Hazard. Yay!
Oh boy.
Oh man, that's one. we
Also
gotta
about
watch.
reincarnation.
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Yes.
kind of. No, it's
Takuma,
different.
Takuma
Whatever.
Dan, aka Kamaros, is voiced by Rick Simone in English, and his only other anime credit is Tatsuya in 3x3 Eyes.
Yay!
So, what do you guys think of Dan? Probably the best
Dan the
character.
Mountain Man. Yeah, honestly,
Mountain Man's
he's
fun.
the most
He's
sympathetic
funny.
of all the characters. I'm like, you know what? I would get a coffee with Dan.
Yeah, I want to taste how he makes his coffee.
Oh,
His beautiful
Whoa.
legs
Whoa.
with his knee high
Whoa!
socks.
yeah.
He's got thick legs.
Also,
Whoa.
like, clearly he's the best person to like travel with because he always is
Always has a
prepared with
backpack.
like a coffee and
Aloe.
medical
His
kit.
aloe.
Yeah.
Gotta have that aloe.
Yeah, I mean, if he can heal like someone's like sword wounds and like falling off a building wounds with just aloe and a bandage, like fuck yeah. Like have that guy write the medical books.
And he wears palm fronds on his head very well.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's a tough look for anyone to
Yes.
pull off.
Jesus.
Next up.
We have Keita, or Amaro.
Mm-hmm.
He's good old Sakaguchi Daisuke. He's most known as Shinpachi in Gintama. He's Jacuzzi Splut in Bacano.
Oh, jacuzzi.
Leonardo Watch in Blood Blockade Battlefront, which everyone needs to watch.
No, I need to catch up.
Yeah, you better. Uso Ewin in Victory Gundam. Young Ace in One Piece. Taitsu Shinjin in the original Hoshinengi. Okuyasu in March Comes in Like a Lion. Shonen Bat in Paranoia Agent. And you can hear him most recently as Mishima in Persona 5 and Fudo Yukimitsu in Token Rambu.
Nice. Tate is played by Dean Shelton, and that is his only anime credit whatsoever.
Oh, shit.
Seems like a reoccurring.
Yeah. How do you feel about Keita, Sano, / Amaro, /
Really
Bugboy?
didn't do much.
Well, at least like he kind of dropped the whole like bug thing and
Yeah.
focused on like the I'm good with the computers thing.
Lies. He just rolls around with his butterflies. All the time.
He was really close with Dan, which felt really illegal.
Yeah, did we
Small
establish like what he's in high school. Is that
Yeah.
it?
They were both.
Are they both in high
Middle
school?
school?
They're friends. Was he in middle school? Oh shit.
I think
Tate
he's,
looks
I
like
think
he's
he's
pretty
high
young.
school, but he's like
He's
the
young looking
the
one.
small
Small.
kid.
Little
small.
small.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
looks like he goes to a private school somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. His uniform was not the same. So yeah, maybe he does go to a different school.
I didn't like him.
Oh, yeah. You don't like
didn't
Kano?
like him.
No.
That was a
I just
flat
had-
wow.
I just had no
Wow.
opinion of.
That's rude.
Why did you not like him?
He's gonna send his butterflies after you.
he was songing up on just like only the butterflies. I'm like, we couldn't give him like control of all bugs or something like Shino. It's just these butterflies
Okay.
because whatever.
Well, he does
Fair
see
enough.
the insects feel pain, so I mean, technically,
Yeah,
he
but we
probably
only
Yeah, but he
All
can also
can.
like feel the mountains and the trees. Why can't he do some shit with that?
Yeah, I know.
He
Didn't
wasn't
he do
developed.
something with the trees in one episode?
No, that was
that was
Daimon.
Daimon.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Although he was there with all of in the flashback, all the priests were praying for Iritese, and he
Yeah.
was up there. So maybe
I think
he
he's
had
like
some
the
kind of skill.
I think he's
but
like the lowest.
Yeah,
Of the
and there was
business.
that bit that happened in our last recording where he was like, "No, I don't want to fight. I don't know how to do all this stuff. No, I don't want to." And
I hope it sounded better in Japanese than the English that I heard. Because,
no, it sounded about the same. it was
in
great.
English. It was just like, "I am afraid. I'm afraid. Please
Yeah,
stop."
and when we
I was
had
like, wow,
when we had his intro, he was he looked super badass after he transformed and was like, we probably won't meet again, but yeah, we will because this is how this works. Like him like coolly walking away after working with the bugs and stuff, and like, no, please don't. I'm just a kid. I'm like, all right, you fucking suck. Never mind.
Next
Next up.
is Karya, or Garos is Ito Kentaro.
Oh, that guy.
Yes, he's most known as Abarai Renji in Bleach. He's buried the
Oh
Yeah.
well, that match is pretty good. That's a pretty good match.
he's Yuhi and Ayashino Ceres. Riki
Oh,
in
God.
the new Ai no Kusabi that got canceled. Buried the Chopper in Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay, that also fits.
Wow.
Tetsuo Kaga in Hikaru no Go. Does that fit too?
I haven't watched that one.
I don't
can
remember
tell
who
you.
that is in Hikaru no Go. I
He's
have
the
watched it.
redhead. The little bitchy redhead who wants to play shogi instead of Go.
Okay.
If Jet was here, she'd be all over that. He's Indul in the new part 3 of JoJo.
Oh.
Shadow Man and War Rock in Rockman. Also in Zombie Lone. Tadokuro in Petals, the Yowamushi Petals. Yoon in Street Fighter Third Strike and the fourth one. The Choji in Naruto and Boruto.
Nice.
Yes, and you can hear him now as Shiraishi in Golden Kamui, and hopefully he'll reprise his role as Banjo in Tokyo Ghoul.
Cool. He is played by Ryan Perrigine in English, and his only other anime credit is additional voices in Neon Genesis Evangelion, the movie The End of Evangelion.
Oh, was he the Splot? The
I don't know.
Slight noises,
It's been
perhaps,
decades since I
maybe.
have seen that movie. So,
Like really, if you want him to be, then yeah, sure.
yeah.
I just
we'll say
remember
yes.
everyone exploding into orange tang.
He could be one of them. That's fine. All right. Eve will have to go last. Thoughts on Nazca? Ed, go.
That was not very good. What can I say? I mean, it's so the plot is pretty typical of any of the reincarnation anime from that era. People change their motivations all the time or change their attitudes. It's like, no, we're gonna fight. No, we're not gonna fight. No, I like you. No, we're gonna So I don't know. It could have been. I think it might have been better if it were a little bit shorter, because it really seemed like they would say, "Oh, the final confrontation is coming," and then they just drag it out for another 4 episodes.
Yeah, like if
and
this
then-
were like a 6-episode OVA or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, that would be much better.
So I mean, I don't know. I would give it a pass.
Kate,
I mean, just because it has Koyasu in it doesn't mean that it's good.
Koyos is in so much stuff, Eve.
Yeah.
Not as much
You don't
as
have
he
to.
used to, though.
You don't have to watch everything. He's
Yeah.
He's going to retire. So.
Oh
No.
shit.
I
Well,
don't
so
think
overall, yeah, I think you can give this one a pass. Like, it's just the characters are not very compelling, and their motivations for doing what they're doing keep conflicting with their prior motivations, and then the confrontations keep kind of repeating themselves without any progression. Like, I think Kyoji's a really bad main character because he has absolutely no heroic arc story wise. Like, he's the same at the end as he was at the start. Like, really, there's not much progression by any of the characters. It's just like, oh, let's put these people in this situation and have them like bump heads in the same way several times in a row, except let's change the setting slightly each time, or like add one more character, but they're still gonna like fight each other the exact same way each time. And I'm like, it's just, it doesn't make it more interesting when you just like add one more thing into the mix. Like, you have to actually change the context of what's going on and like make us care about why this confrontation is different than the previous one.
For me, yeah, I'll have to agree. I'm like 40%. I liked 40% of this and did not like 60% of this. Like, there of some of the good bits, there are some hilarious dub lines in this.
Yeah, it is funny, but I mean, for a drama, I'm like, I'm not going to give you points for that.
Yeah. Some of the earlier stuff is probably better. When I watched what I liked on episode 7, which was like, oh man, this way turn around for me, and then watching it again, and then the rest of it was like, oh no, maybe not. Okay, never mind. I did like some of the characters more than the others, but yeah, Kyoji is not a great protagonist. And I was very disappointed at the regression of Yuka, and the second batch of episodes that we watched were like, oh, so badass non-teenage chick now becomes damsel in distress the whole time. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even though there are some funny lines in the dub is not that good.
Yeah, honestly, like, I would put this on in the background of like a party and just have it on because the visuals are entertaining, and some of the dialogue is so silly that it's just interesting to look at it. But it's, I don't know. It's not something that I would give my full attention to.
I was curious about this though. I was like, so why do they pick this to be featured in Malcolm in the Middle? I just unsure why, but
Maybe
it was
someone had a
something.
I bet they got it cheap. That's why.
Yeah, that
Maybe.
too.
I will say this though. This is actually a pretty good anime to watch to like hate watch and drink watch too.
Hate watch,
I don't know
wow.
about hate
Well, I
watch.
don't know about hate watch.
Hate watch is kind of strong, but this is a good one to drink to be at the like take a shot of something at the incredulousness of what is happening there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you could make a really good drinking game out of this anime.
That's fair.
Next, Karen.
It's hard to coalesce my thoughts on this because I feel like I have some like nostalgia goggles on this from whenever the first time I watched this. I still can't remember because I watched just recently some of it on YouTube, and it was the dub, and I'm like, I don't remember watching the dub, so somehow I watched it in Japanese, but I don't remember how. But I remember
An anime club, maybe.
No, I was never in an anime club, so that's why it's weird. But I have some nostalgia goggles on this, I guess. So there's some parts of it that I enjoy for the ridiculousness, like the costumes. Like they make absolutely no sense, but they're kind of amazing at the same time. So, and some of the shots, I also did not watch it on a giant TV. I remember watching it was really small, so I think the quality level looked a little bit better than blown up on a giant TV.
Clearly, this was in there of everything 480 resolution.
Yeah. So it looked cleaner from what I remember back then when I watched it. So it's completely ridiculous, and it makes no sense, and it kind of happens, and then they're like, oh, and it's resolved. And you're like, but... okay, just try to destroy the world, and only 12 people knew that, and you didn't succeed. So
Yeah.
and life went on, and you're like, but okay, ancient Incas, sure, whatever.
Sure.
But I don't know. I would put it on, like Kate said, probably as a background thing, just because it's amusing in a ridiculousness sort of way.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I can't say that I love it, but it is. I probably put it higher than the other three so far have, just because I have a little fond corner in my heart. I still like that opening, as stupid as it is.
It's real nice.
It's so dramatic though. All the classical music.
I know.
Oh wow.
Classical music, and like it's just fluid for whatever reason. Just that opening is really nice to me.
It's done. Yeah, it's done real well.
Yeah.
And Eve, take us home.
I guess.
Oh.
I mean, with commentary from people who've never seen it before, it's not what I remember.
I know.
So what
Like,
what are your
yeah.
memories of it?
That I thought it was kind of cool,
This is fine.
and I guess I kind of forgot how bad the animation was at points.
Well, we're watching this stuff on like high definition 4K TVs. Nothing's been
Yeah. Also,
Yeah, I-
like,
remastered or anything
yeah,
like
and these
that.
days we're pretty spoiled for great animation.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
there
it's
were
like-
still some things I could appreciate. Like I really loved the last episode, like how clean and everything looked on there. Like there were probably some parts, because you can't have the entire episode be animated beautifully like that. But yeah, there were some really good parts of it that I thought were really well done.
Well, not everything can be a Trigger production.
Yeah, exactly. That's oof.
Not everything can be kill any.
Yeah, that's
And we're going to kill a bunch of
not
in-betweeners.
even Trigger can keep up with that type of animation either. So
But still, even regardless, I still like the premise.
it's an interesting premise.
Yeah, and it's in an area that not a lot of even storytelling even goes to. So that's why I latched onto it. Aside from the voice cast.
Only Road to El
Well,
Dorado.
that doesn't happen in anime. Like
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of stuff. Like they, yes, this was a bit of a stretch to Nazca, Asuka, Japan type thing, but
God.
they don't really tend to branch out like to South America at all.
Or even any kind of different lore outside of Europe,
Yeah,
Asia.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah. It
much
was
it.
a really interesting choice of like, oh, we're gonna set our story with this like ancient Incan society
yeah.
and
I give
reincarnation.
them major props for trying to take a
Yeah.
risk
Yeah.
of doing that.
And there's not even any Egypt stuff aside from like really old stuff from the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah, I don't know if
bring that
Japan
back.
the U.S. definitely went through like a Egypt is super cool kind of kick, like back several decades
of
ago.
the-
Well, that's
and-
during the
the King Tut thing.
yeah,
the Tut Renaissance.
yeah. And I don't know if
Tut
Japan
songs.
ever had anything like that. So it's interesting that they picked like ancient Inca reincarnation stuff.
And I mean, like, if you touched on is like, what can we do different? And then you just
Yeah.
randomly look. It's like, oh yeah, there's those things. Why not make that into something?
Yeah,
And apparently this was a manga.
Yeah,
First,
there was a
right?
manga,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was super short.
Yeah.
Like just as short as the anime, but still,
Yeah, it was like 2 volumes, I think. So
Oh, okay.
it's kind of like
Yeah, maybe that's why
it's
there's not a
kinda
lot
like
of character
All-Star.
development.
yeah, I agree that if it was just like a little bit shorter, because they could have maybe cut out like 1 or 2 of the rounds of fighting.
Yeah.
Because like Kyoji kept getting his ass beat.
Yeah, but it's like I feel like some stories, like I'm used to it being like, okay, so you have this conflict and it's used to show what the characters are like or to give the characters a reason to change and improve. And Kyoji gets his ass beat the whole way through and he never really improves.
Except in that last fight, where it's
Oh yeah,
just,
where it's just like
unexplained.
the random like wind attack out of nowhere, and I'm like no mention of what this was or how he did it.
Yeah. But I had this particular show on the mind at the end of the third Mummy movie, where he's like, "Oh, I'll go to Peru. There's no mummies there." I was like, "They had so much potential to do something with this." And I was really upset, but whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not like mad or sad that I ended up watching this, because I like trying to expand the palette, and I'm pretty sure we're probably going to reference Nazca somehow in like future anime stuff.
Oh yeah. Honestly, like,
whether it's in jest or in all seriousness, like
Does this mean we're gonna watch Shiogami or something?
yeah.
maybe for Patreon.
Well, that
or
one's a
something.
long one.
We'll see.
Or just the OAVs?
But actually, I'm happy that we watched this all the way through because I got to see you could get off the train at this station that I've actually been to.
Oh,
Because I had a friend who lived in that town in Japan.
nice.
So I went to Kashihara Jingumai. Like, yeah, there's really not
Now
a lot
when
to
you
do
go
around
back,
there.
you'd be like, there it is.
Yeah, I'd be like, I was here. This was in an anime. Did you know that?
While everyone else is going to like the Red Bridge in Fate and
Yeah.
the Your Name locations.
Oh, now we could be like, look what station I'm at. Oh, it's from Nazca. And everyone's
people
gonna be
are
like, what?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for a photo from you. I'm expecting this now.
Uh-huh. I don't know-
Show up at the train station, take a photo, and send it, and be like Nazca, and we'll be like, yes.
That'd be amazing. All right. Shall we round off?
Okay.
Cool. All right. That'll about do it for this episode. Ed, where can people find you?
As usual, I'm at the very long Twitter handle Ippen no Kuinashi. And well, I don't think I'm doing anything in the near future.
Anime Expo, maybe?
Anime Expos will be the next thing, so a
Okay.
couple months
Okay.
off still.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's the next thing for me. So,
Okay. Eve, where can people find you?
On Twitter, EvilCause7, EVEILCOS7. I'm probably gonna go to the Bungo Stray Dogs movie showing,
Nice.
and then maybe stop by AX.
Hope so. That'd be cool.
Maybe for just the weekend.
It was the same weekend.
Huh?
You made that sound like it was the same weekend.
No. I'm just like,
Oh.
it's like what comes first? I think the movie comes first, and then AX, and then because I'm still saving up for Japan Expo in Paris.
ooh.
Paris.
All right, Karen, what about you?
I'm on all the social medias, Riot Cosplay pretty much. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook,
Nice.
ACP, World Cosplay. A lot of things that I have forgotten to update. I don't really know what the next thing, like potentially AX. Normally I work AX. We'll see what happens this year. Probably some local things popping up that I might stop in, but nothing huge, I don't think, until July. So.
Okay. Kay, where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter at Taiko-chan and Instagram at taiko.chan. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to go to any conventions or anything until Anime Expo, but I'll be doing that and San Diego Comic-Con in July. And then in late August, early September, I'll be at Dragon Con.
Yay!
Yay! I'm excited to go back to that.
Oh, did you get your stuff for San Diego Comic Con? Wasn't the Hotel
not yet.
Apocalypse?
Not yet.
No, though they announced when
It's
it's going to
coming.
happen. It's going to go down
By
on
the time
Wednesday.
this episode is
Yeah.
released, Hotel
So,
Apocalypse will have
like,
happened.
send me all your good luck for good
It's
hotels.
already going to be over by the time this gets released.
We'll see.
Send us your retroactive.
Yeah, but we won't find out until like the week after. So
That's true. Yeah, that's right.
yeah, so still send me your good luck. I need it.
And for me, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at itchnob, and I will also be at the same conventions that Kate is going to be at because we live together. Yay!
Yay!
For the show, we are at many places. Don't forget to go to our website, vintageanimeclub.com, for news, episodes, anything like that. You can download. You can go to like iTunes and all that stuff through the website that way to download whatever you need for the whatever podcast aggregate you use. And of those, we are on iTunes, or formerly iTunes, now Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play Music, Blueberry, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Podbean, Overcast, and Podchaser. You can also like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We also have a YouTube channel that Garrett is updating, and we would like to get to 100 subscribers. That way we can actually have a custom YouTube link instead of like the random jargon that is numbers and letters and stuff for our YouTube URL. We also have an email at vintageanimeclub@gmail.com. And don't forget to support the show in multiple ways, either purchasing through our Amazon affiliate links or going through our Right Stuff affiliate links. That can be found on YouTube and our website. Just Nazca's out of print, so you can't really purchase that to help support the show that way. But go buy old stuff, and it's cool. And we will probably start doing Patreon a little bit later. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you all out there for listening. This meeting is adjourned. Us up.
Bye. Today's episode is brought to us by, first, in honor of reincarnation, we have the Primal Roots 2015 California Red Blend. Sensual and provocative wines rooted in the art of winemaking. That's not even a sentence, it's a phrase. The true essence of our wine begins with the raw qualities of Syrah, Merlot, Zinfandel, and Petit Syrah that are artfully blended to create a smooth, full-bodied, sensual wine. Aromas of mocha, black cherry, vanilla, and spice give way to a silky texture and rich flavors of raspberries, chocolate, and dark caramel that are truly uninhibited.
And for our second wine of the night, we have Diseño, an old wine Malbec 2016 vintage from Mendoza, Argentina. I think we did a pretty good job getting a bunch of South American wines for these 3 episodes. Malbec has thrived in Argentina since the 1800s, when cuttings were transplanted from their original home in France. Now considered amongst the world's most distinguished red wines, Malbec flourishes in Mendoza. Argentina's most highly respected vignerons, don't know how to pronounce that word, supply Diseño Malbec from old-growth vineyards in Mendoza. Wines grow in fertile soil rich with the old mineral deposits, irrigated by heavy winter snow melts from the Andes glaciers. Diseño Malbec is a rich wine with an inviting bouquet of stone fruit.
Yes, they talk about bouquets with wine. That means how it smells.
A hint of coffee complements
the aroma.
A hint of coffee complements the blueberry spice and chocolate flavors. I had to turn the bottle because I couldn't see the full word. So, excuse you, I'm trying to read. What do you guys think about the wines?
They're good.
Yeah, I actually really liked them both.
Especially the
Very
Primal is
smooth.
good.
No,
Yeah, the Primal Root is very, very fruity, very smooth.
Yeah, we didn't get to finish the Diseño, but that will happen shortly after we are done with this podcast. So thanks, guys. We'll catch you next time with Pompoko.